Okay, so first I wanted to start by saying I grabbed a darker fabric and a lighter fabric just in case the cast members happen to get different like colors and shirts. So I wanted to show you what the paint would look like on something darker and something lighter. As far as the lighter piece goes, you can get it to not be as white and clean if you stick it in a pot of boiling water on the stove for about 20 minutes or so, and you stick 10 tea bags inside of the water and submerge the fabric completely, like underneath the surface of the water. And if you sit tea bags in certain spots, it'll concentrate and make little spots like that in the fabric. As far as fabric paint goes, you can get stuff like a Tulip brand at Walmart. I'm pretty sure you can get it at Michael's, Joann's, Hobby Lobby, and you don't have to get Tulip. Any fabric paint works, just black and white fabric paint. Brush wise, I have this fluffy one that I use because it's good for texturing, a couple smaller ones, just feathery looking ones, and a toothbrush. Okay, so for the white piece of fabric, I'm gonna take my bigger feathery brush and barely dip it in the black fabric paint. You're not gonna want to put white fabric paint on a white piece of cloth. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, it won't show up. But okay, so you put tiniest amount of black fabric paint on this brush, and what you're gonna do is you're just gonna start dabbing it. Make sure you concentrate it around the edges really well, and you can take your finger and like add little like pats on the bits that are going up higher, so that way, you know, it kind of spreads them out, fluffs them out. My apologies if this is wonky. I'm filming with one hand and painting with the other. But yeah, so you're gonna do that down the entire side. Like, you really want to concentrate bits like this on the outer edges of the parts of the garment you're painting. Like, say if you have a collar on the shirt, on the edges of the collar, or on the ends of your sleeves, in the areas where like maybe the armpits would be, or the bottom of the shirt. You can even put like patches on different areas of the shirt if you want. It doesn't have to be on an edge. Like, you can start out, make you a little blob right there, kind of feather it out that way. It'll create some dirtiness right there. Okay, as far as the paintbrush technique goes, not paintbrush, wow, toothbrush, I put the smallest amount of paint on it as well, and then I dip it in, just give it a little dip in some water, make sure it's not too wet, and then I'm gonna take my finger like this and flick on the brush. And see, look, it creates like little moldy spots, like a nice little texture to the fabric if you want to add a little bit more. It's super simple and it looks good. Okay, now for the darker fabric. I'm going to take the same brush that I used to make the little splotches on my light piece of fabric, but I'm going to dip it in white this time. Same thing as the other one. Don't put too much on the brush. Just barely any paint there. And then I'm going to go right here to the edge and start. Okay, yeah, there we go. Okay, I'm going to feather it out like that. And you'll want the white paint on the darker fabric to go up a bit higher than you would want the black paint to go. And you might want to concentrate the white a tiny bit more at the bottom so it looks like it's building up and, like, you know. Okay. Alright, now I'm going to take a different brush. This one's also feathered out. It's a smaller one. There we go. It finally focused. I'm going to barely dip that into the black. See, there's not much paint on there. Focus. Okay, well, you get the point. And then I'm going to dab in small spots. I'm going to dab that black over top of the white. See, and it's creating kind of a moldy looking texture. over top of the white. But you don't want to take the black speckles up as high as you did the white, because you don't want to completely cover it up. But looks a little bit odd because it's t-shirt fabric, but it'll look really good on say like a regular button-up fabric. But there's a little instructional video. Hope it helped.